All right, guys, welcome back to LOS Live, sponsored by Premier Lending. I'm Devin Dubuc.
I'm Coach Rick Koenig.
And man, we're just here to have a great time and share success techniques and, help you guys out there find ways that you can build an amazing business. And you don't have to do it by yourself. I think it's a good one. I think it's going to be a good one, Coach. What do you think?
Oh, I think so too. I had what kind of led to me suggesting the topic today was I was having a recruiting call of my own, talking to an area manager with a really good company. And I kind of knew going in that I wasn't going to gain a recruit. Okay. And I know there's a lot of loan officers out there that, might go into a meeting knowing they might not get a real estate agent.
Right.
But the thing is, how did I get this meeting to begin with?
Well, how did
I do it?
How did you do? Because look, here's the thing. I know you wear a lot of hats here. You're a coach, you're a mentor. You say recruiter, you're an attractor coach. Let's put it what it really is. Right? You attract people just because you're a great guy and you're doing things for all the right reasons. But you wear a lot of hats and you physically wear a lot of hats too, right? I think we both do. But at the end of the day, sometimes, when we're trying to build a business, we can't be in 10 places at one time, right? So how do we get that flexibility to be in multiple places at the same time and keep the needle moving when we have real-time responsibilities that have to be done? What's that look like, Coach?
Well, I think what, we've built and are continuing to build, for myself and for Premier is something that's duplicatable. A lot of people don't think about it. So in my case, like you said, I'm busy, I'm doing calls, I'm meeting with people. And when do I find time to make the hundreds of calls that it takes to get, literally the hundreds and hundreds of meetings I've had over the last 90 days?
Yeah, that's what I remember. Literally, it was about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago, and you were so overwhelmed by the amount of calls that you had to take. You had to take vacation. You literally said I had to take some time off. That month was so intense because of how many people that I communicated with, and and the results speak for themselves. And I say that only because I know what we've got on the horizon from all the activity that you had there. So let's talk about that.
Yeah. So, having been a coach all these years and we know what Go Coaching and Marketing Animals and Core and everybody teaches, you've got to make the calls as a loan officer. Well, you got to do the same thing as a recruiter. Yeah. So whether you're recruiting for your branch or for your team, or you're trying to build your first team, or whether you're a loan officer just trying to get out in front of more people to grow your referral base. Yeah. No matter what anybody tells you, social media, marketing, Facebook, all these other tools where you can get to know people so that when you're going to make that first call, it's a warm call because they know who you are because you've been commenting and you've gone back and forth.
Yeah.
You still have to make that call. But how do you get that call set up? Well, in my case, the companies, allowed us to go ahead and add some callers. And we chose 3 young men who you actually did all the interviewing for.
I might have.
I didn't personally interview them because I'm one of those guys that likes everybody I talk to. I don't think I ever met a person I didn't like. And right. If you hear me say somebody's an a-hole, they're an a-hole.
I might know somebody who thinks an a-hole.
Yeah, it's been a few months since I talked to him, but yeah. But so we hired together this team of callers, and we provided them with lists that we got through, Redder and Modex and MMI and all these different sources.
Yeah,
we were able to put them into, upload them into our CRM. We've got a great CRM that the callers have access to. I'm able to listen to their calls. We had talking and coaching sessions on how they were going to introduce me, how they were going to talk about me.
That's right.
Literally in May, they booked 253 calls.
Woo!
Had 127 actually show up.
Yeah.
There's probably 12 to 16 of those we're still in some type of talks with, which could be months or even years before they want to make a switch. Some are contractual obligations they have to fulfill, and some are just, man, oh man, they're afraid to make that move. And,
And some
we're
are just
doing,
great friends, right? People that aren't looking to make a move, but at the end of the day, it's great to have allies in this industry because we never know where things are going to take us, or when that bad thing's going to happen. We've got a gentleman here that works for our company, Brad Chambliss, who we just had an interview with him, and he'd had 3 transitions, and not by choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
He had a business that literally just flat out went out of business, right?
We had with a company that got bought.
Yeah.
And didn't want to go with the company buying after being with the other company for over 10 years.
That was it.
Then a company goes out of business, made a quick move, and then thank God he's been here for a little over a year now.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we never know what's going to happen. So it's always great to have those great connections. But, at the end of the day, what you're doing, it's not just for attracting recruits for mortgage. This is also being done. In fact, we're doing it right now, and this is why we wanted to have this session to talk to all the folks out there and let you know what you can do. We're doing it also to attract new real estate partners, and it's not always because we have call reluctance. Some people have call reluctance. That's a real thing, and we have to identify that. And we can maybe talk about how people can get over that. But some people, it's not that they have call reluctance. They just have a big pipeline of business. And at the end of the day, one thing that we always know, Coach, and I talk about this all the time, is we always have to be scouting for new talent to work with. Even if we have a great database of people that we know, like, and trust, and we're performing well, we always have to be looking for new people. And I think the analogy I always like to look at, and love him or hate him, the Chiefs' Patrick Mahomes is an amazing quarterback. Some people don't believe that, right? But at the end of the day, do you think the Chiefs are not looking for quarterbacks every single year? There's no question that they're looking for quarterbacks, because at some point in time, he's either going to retire, they're going to trade him, right? He's going to not perform at the same level. And at the end of the day, we got to have backups. We got to have people that we already know, trust, they're going to be able to fill in those places. So even a busy person, and when I say busy, I really mean productive, right? That has business coming in, always has to be scouting, but maybe they don't have time to scout themselves. So how do they do that?
Yeah. Well, also being from Cincinnati and having played those boys, which are your team, a few times, and Scotty Hudspeth's team, I have more respect for Mahomes than almost any quarterback in the NFL. I mean, he right now, with Brady retiring, he is the man. And hopefully our man will overtake him. But and then all this orange and black color here will be a lot cooler when I wear my Bengals stuff on here. But
why do you think I had to go with red and white for LOS.LIVE? I'm still bleeding red, orange, and black.
I know you are.
Yeah.
The cool thing about what we've started for me is, because I got so busy, how do you keep these guys busy when I literally had to have them stop calling for me. They're only doing targeted calls for me right now. So, we kind of came up with a game plan of, okay, we need to have them start calling for loan officers. Who do you have them call for? Hey, you can have them call for your busiest and best people. I mean, run with the horses that are running. But what about that next tier of people that have been bigger producers before, or they've switched to a new company, or they've just been down over the last few years and they just haven't been able to get out of that rut? Well, we took these callers. They'd each do the 3 of them together, do an interview with the loan officer that they're going to be calling for. And while they're talking with that loan officer, sometimes with me on the call, sometimes without me, because one of our guys, Harvey's really getting good. They create the script for how they're going to introduce the loan officer.
So custom scripting is what you're talking about,
custom
right?
Scripting.
So
they got 15 seconds, man.
To sit down and dial in on who's your avatar, right? Like, who is it that you're wanting to connect with? And then dialing that in with data from places like Redder or MMI or Modex, right? Like you talked about, ultimately to determine these are the agents that I really love to connect with, right? And now we're going to go, well, how do you want to connect with them? Well, how do you talk? How do you sound? And when we make that connection, what do you want that person to expect once they get on the phone call? I think that's what you're talking about, right, Coach?
Yeah, because one of our guys this morning on our Call Stars show, which we also do to help our loan officers so that they're making their calls, one of our guys told us that the boys, and I call them the boys because they're 19 to 24 years old. So, when your baby's 35, you can call 19 to 24-year-olds boys. But man, the boys, they're awesome. I love these guys.
Yeah.
They set one of our guys up on 5 calls yesterday.
Yeah.
All 5 showed up. He had 20-minute conversations with every one of them. 4 of the 5 gave him the okay to call back and that they'd like to talk again and maybe even meet. And so how many times do you get 5 meetings with a realtor in a day, let alone a week or a month?
Well,
Because we know they're not calling out there.
Well, and more importantly, a realtor you really want to connect with, right? You know, I think that's what we want to make sure that we're focused on. This is somebody that you know you want to connect with. You've taken the time. And this is something we want to talk about too, because a lot of the times you got a lot of people out there just gunning. They just get a list and and with the, with the VAs or the assistants like we're talking about, you can technically do that. But why would you do that? Because once you get them on the phone and you spend 20 minutes, you may be wasting your time with somebody that you may not really want to work with, right? And let's talk about it for 2 reasons. One, maybe they're not producing, right? But 2, maybe they're just not your kind of person, right? So what I believe it's really important to dial in on a list of people that you genuinely want to meet with, people that you think are going to be, your cup of tea, right? You guys really jive and get along just based off of the things that you've seen from them. So when you're dialing into these lists, make sure that you're taking the time to put together that great list. If you're going to have somebody else go out and do the dialing for you, because that way, once you make those connections, you're connecting with people that you're going to be able to build a relationship. Because let's be honest with each other. I don't care if you're talking about mortgage sales, recruiting, if you're in a real estate business, it doesn't matter. Sales is relational. People want to get to know people and they want to work with people that they like. So why go after somebody who has no interest in what you're interested in, right? We want to make sure that we're making real connections with people that are going to move the needle so that we have long-term lasting partnerships. So I think that's really important to talk about that too. We can keep the gunning or we can actually make it a little bit more meaningful and make sure that these conversations that are being had when they connect are going to really connect so that when it carries over and you jump on the phone, these people already know who you are and what to expect.
Yeah. So they've got your avatar down. They know who you are. They know who they're talking about. So now we have to provide them with a list of agents that they want to talk to. And I will tell you, for me on the recruiting side, after 6 to 10 weeks of calling and trying to set up appointments with almost 9,000 people, the list got whittled down and whittled down and whittled down. There were people that hang up. So with a loan officer, they're not having to call that many people like I have to nationwide. And it's way harder setting up recruiting appointments rather than realtor appointments. I truly believe that.
Agreed.
And I knew that these guys, they're just studs when it comes to setting up my appointments. Well, we provided them with a list that we downloaded from one of the companies that we work with. And we were able to get typically about 300 people that had a minimum of, depending on the marketplace, anywhere from 10 to 12 buyer side transactions a year at a minimum. And we kind of targeted the 10 to 12 up to about 20 to 24. We had kind of a medium-sized producing real estate agent was what we were thinking about doing. And so we had that target. We let the team, the loan officer, review the list in case there was anybody they wanted to remove. And then once we had our 300, we had it uploaded into the system. The team splits it up. There's 3 different callers. They are bonused based on how they're on a salary. They're all on small salaries. They get a bonus for every appointment they set up, and they get a bonus for every appointment that shows. And then we came up with a team bonus for anybody that, like on my case, anybody that we hire on the loan officer, or it's going to be for when that real estate agent's first transaction closes, we're putting a bonus into a pool. And then once a month, these guys get to split the pool up. Of course, with the recruiting side, it takes longer. And the real estate side, we're seeing some really good stuff. We just started doing this last month for the team. We started off with a California-based loan officer and an Oregon-based loan officer. We've expanded it to a Texas loan officer who wants to call on people in Florida.
Utah, baby.
Yeah, the guy that's up in Oregon wanted to do more calling in Idaho because a lot of the people from California that are moving to Idaho. And so we started setting them up on calls, and it's been working. In fact, the one gentleman I was talking about got the 5 meetings is in Colorado. He had a list from Georgia. I actually don't even know the story why he had a list for Georgia, but he provided the callers with his own list in Georgia. And those 5 appointments came in Georgia. And then I know this week what night we were at dinner? We were at dinner on Tuesday night. And
Tuesday
while we were at
Monday.
dinner, was it?
Monday and Tuesday, Coach. We were together.
Okay, well, Tuesday, the nice dinner, the steak dinner. We were getting text messages at the table that they set up 8 meetings for a guy out of Alabama in the Birmingham, Hoover area. The first day they called.
Fantastic.
So realtors are accepting your calls, but if you're not going to be the one making those calls, I don't care about all the other stuff. We talked today in our personal meeting with our team about budgeting their time, how much time you need to do for setting up the appointments, how much time do you need for having the appointments, how much time do you need to be available for client calls, issues, and just stuff that comes up in the normal day. And how much time did that leave you on a week? And we came up with almost 25 hours a week. I think I even still have it written down here. Yeah, we came up with, basically about 30 hours to sometimes 36 hours a week. If you just did all those things consistently, you still had an hour or so a day just for extra stuff outside of doing videos, social media, meeting with clients, meeting with realtors, and actually trying to set your meetings up. Well, if your caller is setting up appointments for you, you've already knocked 2 hours off of my time blocking schedule for the day. Now you got 10 extra hours a week, or at least 8 extra hours a week, that you can incorporate some of the other stuff that we learn on the MLO live show with Scott Hudspeth.
Yep, we love our brother Scotty. Oh,
and he has fantastic people. And one of the things we have to remind even our own team that all watch that show, and plus a lot of loan officers nationwide, is even though we show you something new every day, you cannot do something new every day. You have to pick the one thing that's going to drive your business and help you grow your business. And so in our case, I say right now, you've got to get in front of the realtors. You've got to make the calls. If you're not going to make the calls, then look at either with your branch manager. Well, let's start with your branch. If you are the branch manager and you're running a branch that's profitable right now, how much would you be willing to spend to help your loan officers each get 2 to 5 meetings a week? Think about that. You got 4 loan officers under you, and that's 20 meetings a person per month, 80 meetings. How many new clients are they going to get out of that 80 meetings? You and I both know the statistics on that. They could probably end up with about 14 people out of that group. Okay. Oh, and thank you for putting the MLO live show on there.
Yeah. Well, I just want to make sure, folks, if you want to hear more stuff like what Coach, because Coach and I meet literally every single Thursday, and that's the call that you guys are on right now. But Scotty, Coach, and I are on LOS.LIVE Monday through Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central. And we're actually talking about maybe doing a time change, so look out for that. But if you go to MLOLiveshow.com, you can get registered to get the daily reminder to jump on that call. And there's hundreds of people across the United States that jump on this thing. And what they're doing is we've got new guests every single day that are sharing techniques like what Coach and I are sharing here on how to create business, success in your business today. So whether you're a seasoned loan officer that knows it all, but maybe you don't, right? And you want to learn some new techniques, this is a great place to find that. And then if you are the newer loan officer and you're trying to figure out how to just make it happen, right? Or if you're just struggling, this is going to be a great place for you guys to keep coming back. So keep coming back here to Coach's Corner. We're going to do this every single week. You guys are here already, so you know how to find us. Or go check out this MLOLiveshow.com. We're there literally Monday through Thursday every single week. And it's just a great place to start your morning and get things going. Sorry, Coach, didn't mean to break you up.
No. And you can catch all these episodes on YouTube, and I think they're on LinkedIn and maybe even Facebook.
LOS.LIVE.
Yeah, LOS.LIVE. There you go. So you can go back and watch these. And if it doesn't appeal to you, go to the next one, check them out. And, what we're talking about is we're talking about things that have been successful and worked. And, it's kind of interesting, if you're a branch manager out there, why wouldn't you want your team getting together, getting a good half hour's worth of coaching, and then talking about what's best? But if you are not making the calls to generate the business, you're not doing the social media power hour that I call it, where you're, friending people, you're liking, you're commenting, and you're getting to know them technically, so that your first phone call to them is more of a warm call. Heck, you can take this list that you're going to have your callers make. You can
words out of my mouth.
Oh man, Facebook and what is it called?
LinkedIn, Instagram, right? So here's a tip, right? So let's say that you decide, I want to try this dialer thing. And first off, if you don't know where to get them, or you want to know how to get them, feel free to jump on our calendar. We'll make sure that there's a link in there at the LOS.LIVE website where you can do that. We'll put it in the description after we launch this thing, where you can just jump right on Coach Hermai's calendar and learn more about how you can find an assistant to help you with this stuff. But what Coach is about to say, and I think this is brilliant, is take that list that you're about to have these dialers reach out to. And you can even have the dialers do it. Actually, you can have them start with friending them all for you. You need to do the work on the DMing and the commenting, because at the end of the day, that needs to come from you. But have them go in and friend request all these people that they're reaching out on your behalf. That way, when they call and they say, hey, by the way, Coach Rick really wants to get a chance to meet with you. He's been seeing what you're doing on social. He's really impressed with what you're doing. They may have already seen you. They've already seen your friend request in their inbox. And if you're already starting to like and comment on their page, they may go, man, you know what? I really like what these guys are doing. And that also goes back to what we're talking about on social media happy hour. Make sure there's some content on your social media. That way, when they go to look at it, and it's family related stuff is really important, right? We want to make sure that they see us doing the things that we're doing with our families and our friends, but also share some tips, share some techniques, right? And that's the stuff that Coach and I'll keep talking about every single week here. But this is a great way to warm up that list so that it's not even a cold call for the VA, right? When they're reaching out and they're saying, hey, Coach Rick really wants to meet you. They go, you know what? I saw a friend request from him the other day. I think he commented on a reel. I will take that phone call.
Yep. We're at that point where, business is good. At least at our company, it's good. We're growing. People are growing, but there are still people that just aren't doing everything that's necessary. And some of them it's because they've been beaten down. Some are tired. Some are just having that call reluctance. And if you, as the branch manager, the area manager, or whatever, can help overcome that, for a couple $1,000s a month, why not? I mean, we're investing in so many different things. Most of our branches are wasting more money than that in a month on things that we don't even use. This would be something that you would be using. And, quite frankly, if you're at
team members,
I was going to say, if you're at a company that's not going to let you do it, then seriously set up an appointment with us. But, shameless plug. Sorry, brother. Shameless plug. But, if you get it, you get it. And if you understand how to help your team, when you got really good loan officers out there that you started producing at a level that they're happy with, then help them get happy.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, what you're talking about there, Coach, and he's give it a little peek behind the curtains. We pay for this service for our loan officers, right? So effectively, it's something that we pay for at Premier Lending because we do believe that it's important to keep people heading in the right direction. And if we can help that growth by providing them the support that's going to get them those phone calls, then why wouldn't we do that, right? This is a tough enough industry. And I love that you mentioned, the emotional roller coaster this industry has been over the last few years. We were just out to dinner with another gentleman, and the common denominator at the table was that, man, we want to make mortgages fun again. It's been a really disappointing couple of years for some people. Some are killing it. Some people who are following these techniques are having a phenomenal success, but there's other people out there that are really drained. It's been tough. And there's realtors out there that have been drained too. And so, the reason we're doing these shows is because we want to show you guys, you can have fun in this industry again. We're having fun. And, we want to share that. We want to spread that joy out there with you. And, if it's not fun for you to pick up the phone and call the person to set the appointment, that's okay. There's other ways to do that, and that's what we're talking about. So, Coach, I think we're right here at time. So we're going to have to wrap it for – I know we could probably talk on this all day long. We're going to have to wrap it for today. And, guys, we see you there viewing in. Thanks for jumping in and listening to what we have to say. You know, keep coming back every single week. What time is it? It's 11:30 Central to 12 Central. Every single Thursday, Coach and I will be doing the Coach's Corner. And you can find the replays at LOS.LIVE or on YouTube at LOS.LIVE. Instagram, we're there too. We're all over the place. Just look for LOS.LIVE. You'll find Coach and I. And then again, I'm going to run that ticker back one more time for the morning show, MLOLiveshow.com, hosted by Scotty Hudspeth, Coach Rick, and myself. We're all on there. And there's a new guest every single day. And we're going to learn and grow together, guys. That's what it's all about.
Today's guest was an actual real estate agent who taught loan officers how to do what he's doing. That's made him successful in the Denver
organic
market.
leads.
So
organic leads with YouTube.
Yep. So, you know, there's something to learn all the time, but start with making the calls.
Make the calls. I love it. Or get some, or pay somebody to make the damn calls for you. So, guys, again, I appreciate you guys stopping in. This is Loan Officer Success Live, LOS Live. I'm Devin Dubuc.
Coach Rick Koenig.
And we're going to see you on the next one. So thank you guys so much for stopping by. We appreciate YO and you. We'll see you guys soon. Take care.